Yeah, a lot of people wonder how I went from being a West Point grad and working on war staff, planning the Iraq War from December '01 to June of '02, to becoming a comedian, actor, artist. And it's pretty simple. I got to that position on the war staff at 25, and I saw things that at the time I probably shouldn't have seen. I saw how they make the war sausage, and it was all corrupt. And I saw that the whole world was rigged. And even though they were grooming me to be a general and recruiting me to the CIA and all these different MIC related things, I just was like, all right, I'm going to exit stage left, move back home to LA, and got into stand-up comedy with my brother. And I haven't looked back since. And I have no regrets about saving my soul and not working for the devil and enslaving my fellow humanity and going around and finding a way to, you know what, break things to people with a sense of humor, especially on that, much lower level. And then later on, I lived in LA and I did all the mushrooms and the acid and all the meditating. And now I can joke about the higher levels, which is nice, the transcendental levels of life, which is kind of useful, and everything in between. Obviously I like crushed a ton of pop culture and everything, so I can make all the references and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's why I had to leave that whole world behind, because the blessing and curse of my life was that I got raised to the top of the war game at 25, and I got to see all this stuff, a lot of stuff that has finally come out in the public the last like 4 or 5 years. And so I was ahead of the curve, and it did isolate me, but that's also what gave me great strength and like the ability to move away from that world and go into positive, more harmonious, cleaner living. And then also just like, be able to joke about all the stuff. And so, if you see me run around, whether it's like as the clown man or in a chicken suit or making ridiculous videos or whatever, just know that was directly because I got disenfranchised by what I saw in the military. And I had a good enough education to go out and create on my own. And obviously I've collaborated with tons of people and had lots of help over the decades. But yeah, that's why I did. That's why I left, and that's why I've been in arts and entertainment and comedy ever since. So have fun.